भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्त्यावतारं भक्त्याख्यं भक्तशक्तिरूपकम् हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पंगा मम मंदमते गति मत्सर्वस्य पदां भोज
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
He chose the name Prabhupada Disciples Association because there is so much confusion about who the devotees are. Some people are called Ritviks, which is a concoction. And a lot of people accuse us of being Ritviks. Ritvik, the term Ritvik means a officiating priest who initiates in this system on behalf of Srila Prabhupada in his Vani incarnation. Well, this is a very important point because this confusion in the Vaishnava community worldwide is a very unfortunate because it misleads people, and there is a sinister background behind it of cover-up. This cover-up business of certain people is planned, strategically planned. It's not just happens by chance or accident. And although they may not be collectively working together at the same time, they are acting with the same motive, which is for their own personal benefits. We call it the guru business. And the guru business is very popular in this world, especially because it's $1 billion business. It's not a small business. It's actually quite prolific. There's billions of dollars involved. There's all kinds of rip-offs. They ripped off all the copyrights They have no evidence, Ram Raghava, to show that they have the copyrights to Prabhupada's books, but they ripped them off. And they're using them to make money, even though nowadays I'm not sure who's printing the original books. But at the same time, the Krishna consciousness movement will carry on. Someone said to me, my friend Satyajit in Florida, he says, you mean the Prabhupada's mission has failed? Well, no, his mission hasn't failed, but his movement has failed. There's quotes that say that you should never leave ISKCON. Prabhupada had used that at various moments in his devotional campaign to spread Krishna consciousness. But the point is this: when the situation becomes blasphemous, intolerable, then one should go away. And that's what's happened. And we've restarted. The mission is still there, that we're propagating the truth to other people so that the truth will be maintained, the legacy will be maintained, despite the confusion, the mass confusion that goes on. It's actually very, very unfortunate. And every time we talk to people around the world, we do meet people around the world, it's interesting to note, Mother Rochisha, that I was just talking to a devotee in Serbia just before the class. And he told me that he's been a devotee for so many years, like 30 years, and he got introduced to Krishna consciousness through his father, who was born in 1949 and is, I'm not sure if he's a Prabhupada disciple, but a Prabhupada initiated, but he's a follower. And he said to me, "Oh, Prabhu, my father is listening to all your classes in Serbia." I thought, whoa, how is that possible? I asked him, does he speak English? He goes, no, but he understands English and he listens to the classes. So this is showing that the truth cannot be obstructed by any means. It gradually filters out into the society, and the truth that Prabhupada still lives in his Vani incarnation is still going on with small pockets of people throughout the world. Yes. And it's not destroyed, as I said to Satyajit. It's not. The mission is still there. Lord Chaitanya's mission will go on for 10,000 years. But how will it go? It goes through the Prabhupada Disciples Association. That's it. And the Hare Krishna Society, our charitable organization that's been registered since 2002. So it's not a startup. We're not starting up. I hate startups. I don't know if any of you have been businessmen. Startups are very difficult and they're very precarious. You never know if a startup will work. It could fail. I have about 30 business cards, just so all of you know, in my other career. This thing, that thing. And they come and they go, and there's a failure, and you have to start over again, and you struggle to get going, and maybe it'll work out, and maybe it won't. But most things don't work out. But this is. Why? I'm going to tell this story again for all of you. Prabhupada's, and I constantly repeat it because it's very important for us to get this in our head, what really Prabhupada was saying to all of us. He said, people claim that there are miracles, and he says, yes, that I am a miracle worker. I'm paraphrasing. But I do not know miracles. But I do want to say that I never changed anything that my guru taught me. And that's the principle that we're following, that we're not changing the philosophy, which is being changed constantly. This change disease is going on. It's a cancer. Have you ever had cancer? Have you ever had cancer? Both of us have cancer. Yashodanandana Prabhu and myself have both had cancer. And cancer is a very serious disease. It kills you. Now, fortunately, I had surgery to remove tumors from my urinary bladder, and I've been cured by Krishna's grace. So I could carry on with our service, all of us. And that's Prabhupada's mercy on myself and mercy on all of us that we are having this opportunity to create this sadhu sangha. But this cancer of untruth is spreading viciously throughout the world. And I'm not going to discuss it in detail. All you have to do is go online and see what is going on. And it's very sad because it was a great movement. It's reached the point of complete madness and insanity. My godbrother Yashodanandana says it's like on steroids, madness on steroids. It's a very, very serious contamination. So we've got all these circumstances, but in the middle of it, in the middle of this ocean of confusion, there is peace of mind when we hear the correct philosophy of Prabhupada being explained by his disciples, the Prabhupada disciples. We're not Ritviks. We're repeating what we heard from our spiritual master, and in this way, the mission will carry on. It'll never stop. And this is our success. And we want to thank everybody for being a part of this. We really do. I got a wonderful message from Mother Rochisha yesterday, and she said to me, I'm going to paraphrase it, that she's gone through all of our classes, all of them. We have 500 hours of classes, 500 hours. So she spent a lot of time reviewing everything. And I must say, sometimes it may not be perfect. You know, we might make a mistake. Absolutely. I mean, mistakes are made, to commit mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat. All these defects are there in the conditioned soul, but we're trying sincerely to represent Prabhupada's teachings the way he taught us, specifically me and Yashoda, personally. There's a lot of difference between people that read books and people that actually have had personal association with our guru. That's a big difference, there is. And we see it in the people that we deal with, who concoct or speculate on how Prabhupada, his mood was to spread Krishna consciousness in this material world. And I'm not going to talk, I would like to talk more about my relationship with Prabhupada and how he dealt with me in Toronto, but we'll save that for another time. And we'll move into a section of the Nectar of Instruction. This book here we really should have a good copy of it. This is, I'm not sure what version this is, Yashoda. It's some kind of edited version. So what can I do? I get the essence out of it. There's still truth for us in these books. But we do want to represent the teachings of Srila Prabhupada with unchanged books. But I wanted to read a section. Again, we're talking about concise explanation of philosophy. And what I found in this particular purport in text 10 of Nectar of Instruction was a concise explanation of the materialistic man, which is what we're dealing with, materialism, mundane Maya. That's as simple as it is. And Prabhupada, I want to read this purport because I think all of you will appreciate it, and it'll give you an insight into how all of the people around you are complete animals. That's what it is. There's no compromise. And everywhere you go, all you see is human animals, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. and getting fatter by the moment, especially in America. Materialists work hard like dogs and hogs. Just see that. Simply for sense gratification. And they are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities simply for sense gratification. Materialistic activities are not at all worthy of an intelligent man, for as a result of such activities, one gets a material body which is full of misery. It is. The purpose of human life is to get out of the threefold miserable conditions which are concomitant with material existence. Along with this body, there will be suffering. Unfortunately, fruitive workers are mad to earn money and acquire temporary material comforts by all means. It was interesting. Yesterday, I had some people visiting, and I asked the one lady, what is her purpose in life? And she told me very simply, my purpose in life is to simply make money and take care of my daughter. Make money and take care of my daughter. Okay. Not very deep, but honorable. And temporarily, and acquire temporary, unfortunate, fruitive workers are mad to earn money and acquire temporary material comforts by all means. Therefore, they risk being degraded to the lower species of life. Materialists foolishly make many plans to become happy in this material world. True? Oh, yeah. They do not stop to consider that they will live only for a certain number of years, and out of which they must spend the major portion acquiring money for sense gratification. Ultimately, such activities end in death. Materialists do not consider that giving up the body, they may become embodied as lower animals, plants, or trees. So here it's explaining reincarnation, which the Christians have no concept of, even though it was probably in the Bible. It's been taken out, edited out. Thus, all their activities simply defeat the purpose of life. Not only are they born ignorant, but they act on the platform of ignorance, thinking that they are getting material benefits in the shape of skyscraper buildings, big cars, honorable positions, and so on. The materialists do not know that in the next life they will be degraded and that all their activities simply serve as parabhava, their defeat. This is the verdict of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Parabhavas tavad sobodha jatata. So, very succinct explanation of material world, eh? Very. Shruta, a succinct truth. And we should be confident that by the grace of our spiritual master, we will not remain entangled in this repeated cycle of birth and death by the practice of Krishna consciousness and devotional service, which is the highest platform of existence in this material world. It's an opportunity. I speak about it all the time, but we somehow or other miss the opportunity if we start to contemplate Maya. I was speaking to this fellow in Serbia just now, and he's telling me his life, his married life, his problem with his wife, his problem with his kid, and this and that, whatever. And he's, just off in some kind of twilight zone. So I asked him a very simple question. I said, how are your japa beads working these days? Are you chanting your rounds? Oh, I haven't been chanting my rounds for 2 years. Oh, very interesting. So I said to him, oh, so you're in Maya, huh? You're in total Maya, aren't you? He goes, yes, I am. I said, well, pick up your japa beads and get out of Maya and take shelter of the holy name. And in this way, you'll find peace of mind in this material world of suffering and confusion and hypocrisy and everything else that goes on in the world of illusion. Let's move forward with the reading and discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam this morning with our godbrother Yashodanandana. And by the way, I just wanted one last comment. People give us comments. We're getting reviewed worldwide, as you know. It's filtering everywhere. Well, sometimes you just repeat the same thing. Sometimes it's something about the corruption that took place in the early years of Prabhupada's movement. Well, most of you weren't there, so you don't have any knowledge of it anyway. So we're explaining the past to you so you can understand it. But the real point that we're making is not that we're trying to point out all of these problems, but to expose the problems so that there's no confusion in the minds of our group that Prabhupada is living with us in his Vani incarnation. And this is the major defect. This is the key defect in the current preaching work that's going on with the other people. It's very important to constantly remind us so that during the week we can take shelter reading these books, enjoying them so much, and keeping our mind fixed on the purpose of life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead, and not stumble in this journey due to stupidity and ignorance, which is some disease that affects all of us. Prabhupada just said that. Well, let's go ahead. Ram Raghava, thank you for being here, by the way. I so appreciate all of the group for helping us. Let's do the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, and then we'll have the reading and discussion with Yashodanandana Prabhu. All glories to the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskrityam. Narayanam namaskrityam. Naram chaiva narottamam. Naram chaiva narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, one, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, two, to the Nara Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being. Three, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Then four, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. As we do every week, it should be noted that this reading is being conducted on the basis of the original 1962 New Delhi edition, and all English synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses from the first canto, second chapter, which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Yadanudyasina yukta karma garanti nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Shushrushoho sradadhanasya vasudeva kataruchihi syan mahat sevaya vipra punyatirtha nishevanat. O the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all ranges of vice, a standard of great service is done. And as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Srinvatam svakata Krishna punyasravana kirtana hridyantasto yabadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing his Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Tadara justamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chetaye teranaviddam stitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in the mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manasu bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in a mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarvasamshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishtaevatmanishware. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We'll proceed with our verse for this week. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, text number 1. Sri Sonaka uvacha nirgate narade sutta Bhagavan Badarayanaha Srutavan Stadabi Pretam Tata Kim Makorad Vibhu. Sri Saunaka, of the name Uvacha, said, Nirgate, having gone out, Narade, Narada Muni, Sutta, O Sutta, Bhagavan, the transcendently powerful, Vadarayanaha, Vedavyasa, Shrutavan, who heard, Tad, his, Abhipretam, desire of the mind, Tataha, thereafter, Kim, what, Akarad, did do, Vibhu, the great. Translation: Rishi Sonakan asked, O Sutta, Vyasadeva, the great and transcendently powerful, heard everything from Sri Narada Muni. So after his departure, what did he do? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this chapter, the clue for describing Srimad Bhagavatam is picked up in the matter of miraculously saving the Maharaj Parikshit in the womb of his mother. This was caused by Droni Aswatthama, son of Acharya Drona, who killed the 5 sons of Draupadi while asleep, and for which he was punished by Arjuna. And before commencing the great epic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva realized the whole truth by trance in devotion. Brahmanadyam Sri Suto Vacha Brahmanadyam Sarasvatyam Ashramaha Paschime Tate Samya Prasa iti Prokta Rishinam Satravardhanaha. Sri Suta of the name Uvacha said, Brahmanadyam, on the bank of the river, intimately related with Vedas, Brahmins, saints, and the Lord. Sarasvatyam, of the name Ashrama, cottage for meditation. Paschime, on the west, Tate, bank. Samyaprasa, of the name of the place. Iti, thus. Prokta, said to be. Rishinam, of the sages. Kshatravardhana, that which enlivens activities. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. On the western bank of the river Saraswati, which is very much related with transcendental subjects like the Vedas, etc., there is a cottage for meditation at Samya Pras, which enlivens the transcendental activities of the sages. Purport. For spiritual advancement of knowledge, a suitable place and atmosphere is definitely required. The place on the western bank of Saraswati is especially suitable for this purpose. And there is the ashram of Vyasadeva at Shayam Pras. Srila Vyasadeva was a householder, and still his residential place is called ashram. And ashram means the place where the spiritual culture is continually made. It does not matter whether the place belongs to a householder or to a mendicant. The whole Varnashram system is so designed that each and every status of life is called an ashrama. This means that spiritual culture is the common factor for all. The brahmachari, the grihasthas, the vanaprasthas, or the sannyasins, all of them belong to the same mission of life, namely realization of the Supreme. Therefore, none of them were less important so far as spiritual culture is concerned. The difference was a matter of formality on the strength of renunciation. The sannyasis were held in high estimation on the strength of practical renunciation. Om Bhajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Meritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Bhagavad Bandhana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sarkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yache Punah Punah Srimadrupa Padam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Satkaromisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. As we see so many times in Srila Prabhupada's books. There are so many references to the culture of spiritual advancement. In text number 2, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely, an ashram means the place where the spiritual culture is continually made. It does not matter whether the place belongs to a householder or to a mendicant. The whole varnashram system is so designed that each and every status of life is called an ashrama. This means that spiritual culture is the common factor for all. The brahmachari, the grihastas, the vanaprasthas, or the sannyasis, all of them belong to the same mission of life, namely realization of the Supreme. We see throughout Srila Prabhupada's lectures that he's constantly emphasizing the importance and the need for spiritual inquiry, for spiritual realization, for spiritual achievement. This is the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Every week when we have these Bhagavatam classes, we read from some selected verses from the 2nd chapter. Why do we keep doing that? Very simple. What it is, it gives us an insight into the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the real message? If we look at Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 9. Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 9. Dharmasya yapavargasya nartartaya upakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hismritaha. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation, and they are never meant for material gain. Similarly, material gain for one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service is never meant by the sages for attainment of sense gratification. And then in the text number 10, there's a very important instruction being given. Kamasya naindriya pritir laba jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa narto yascheha karma bihi. Life desires must not be directed toward the matter of sense gratification. One should desire only for healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's work. Very important point. In the Manu Samhita, there is description that both the animals and the human have the same basic characteristics. Ahar nirida bayamaitunam cha samanyati tat purushubihi naranam. In other words, the animals and the human beings have the same basic fundamental characteristics: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. What differentiates the human being is they have the ability to inquire about the absolute truth. You cannot get a cat You cannot get a cat or a dog or a tiger or a giraffe to come and hear Bhagavad Gita. You can plead with them. They do not have the mental capacity by the design of their body. Now, this is a very important point. There's one purport in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Prabhupada mentions that the current human population is a royal edition of the animals. In other words, if a human being simply engages himself in the basic fundamental propensities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, without making attempts to solve the problems of life, then that life is a failure. Now, somebody may say, well, we have our religion, we have our specific denomination, and we worship God. That is nice. What is the result of that denomination? What is the result of that worship? Does it produce actual understanding of the position of the living entity and the position of the Supreme Godhead? Sentiment is nice, but actual realization of the absolute truth is what is required. In the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, it is described, Vadanti tas tatpavidam yat nyayam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyati. The Bhagavatam is very precise how it describes the position of the living entity and the relationship with the supreme living entity, the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, or sometimes called Vishnu. What is that explanation? Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. That the supreme absolute truth is understood in three phases, as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman means, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahmanohi pratishtaham, the impersonal feature of God, his presence everywhere is manifested as Brahman. Paramatma is the presence of God, Krishna, within the heart. In Christian terminology, they call that the Holy Ghost. And Bhagavan is the supreme personality of God in himself. Now, the impersonalists do not comprehend that the personality of Godhead Krishna is the goal of all the study of the Vedas. Vedashta sarver evaham, that the purpose of studying the Veda is to understand Krishna. That is the goal of studying the Vedas. It is not that simply reciting the Vedas like a parrot will bring about some ultimate realization. That is good for those who are doing that. That is very nice. But more important than simply parrot-like recitation is to understand the goal of the Vedas. Vedashta sarvam aham eva vidyaha. One should, here we go. Sarvasya chaham riddhi sannivishto matasmritir jnanam apohanam cha. Vedashta sarver aham eva vidyo vedanta krid vedavideva chaham. Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas am I to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Prabhupada explains in the purport, the Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart. It is from him that all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Required knowledge is supplied to him, and remembrance is given to him, and he forgets also about his past life. Thus, the Lord is not only all-pervading, he is also localized in every individual heart. He awards the different fruitive result. He is not only worshipable as the impersonal Brahman, the supreme personality of Godhead and the localized Paramatma, but as the form of the incarnation of the Vedas as well. The Vedas give the right direction to the people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. And Krishna, in his incarnation as Vyasadeva, is the compiler of the Vedanta Sutra. Now, this is very important to understand, because in some religious denominations, they only believe that human beings have a soul. They don't believe that animals have a soul. It's interesting that Srila Prabhupada has given many interviews and discussions with various members of the Christian faith, particularly one cardinal in France. And Prabhupada was trying to explain that according to the Vedic understanding, all living entities have a soul. The animals also have a soul. And one should not unnecessarily kill animals for eating. And the person could not understand this point. Now, let's understand where this theology comes from. Because in the Bible itself, there is numerous statements. Prabhupada used to point out that in the Bible it says, thou shalt not kill, that the killing of animals is prohibited. They interpreted that thou shalt not murder. No, that is not the correct interpretation. We see that in Genesis 1:29, there is reference that the herbs and fruits and grains, that shall be your food. I'm paraphrasing here. There's also reference in the Bible that one who kills an ox or a bull is as guilty as killing a man. There are many references. There's no need to unnecessarily kill animals. One time people said, well, some Christians object. They say that Christ ate fish and he distributed fish. The Prophet said Christ can eat the whole universe if he wants. He has that power. But that is not your position. So in other words, the understanding of spiritual tattva or conclusive truth is much deeper in the Vedic literatures. We also have to understand the kind of people that Jesus Christ was preaching to. What did they end up doing to him? Crucifying him and killing him. So these kind of understandings of deeper and deeper understanding of the meaning of the position of the soul, the super soul, and the relationship between both of them is very important. That is why we take shelter of these great acharyas, these great transcendental personalities who give the essence of the Vedas, who give the essence of what is God, what is the living entity, and what is the relationship between both. In the Vishnu Purana, there is description, Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasa yashasasriyaha jnanam bhagam itingana, that there are 6 basic fundamental qualities of Bhagavan. The meaning of the word Bhagavan means one who possesses all opulences of knowledge, beauty, strength, renunciation, everything. Krishna has these qualities in full. And in order to understand the position of God in a living entity, one has to hear from a realized soul. This was the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy was the governor. Oh, very nice. Thank you for quoting that. Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yasasahasriyaha jnana vairagya yoscheva sannam bhaga itingana, from Vishnu Purana 6:547. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God, it is thus defined by Parashara Muni as one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. So in other words, to understand the position of Krishna or God, one has to understand that he is a person. He has qualities. He has all qualities in full. And he manifested these opulences during his incarnation on this planet 5,000 years ago. That is why Prabhupada presented the Krishna book. The Krishna book is the translation of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, describing all the activities of Krishna when he was here on this planet. It is a wonderful rendition of the confidential pastimes of Krishna. Very easy to understand, not complicated to understand. Simply one has to give submissive oral reception. Sometimes there are objections that you people, they call us Ritviks. Well, that's a misnomer and a misrepresentation. You are saying that Prabhupada can give initiation. Well, first of all, before we can discuss what is giving or not giving, let's understand what is the meaning of initiation. How does Prabhupada define the term initiation or diksha? Is he giving knowledge or diksha or transcendental knowledge or giving jnanam in his books? That is the first point. There was an old article in a Back to Godhead magazine where one devotee had asked Srila Prabhupada, I want to be initiated. I've been following the principles and chanting Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada's reply is, that is your real initiation, your determination to follow these principles. That is your real initiation. On another occasion, there was a devotee, Vaikuntanath, who was in Vrindavan during the Nectar of Devotion lectures in October, November of 1972 at the Radha Damodar Temple in Vrindavan, India. And after one of these lectures, I was right behind him. He asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we're distributing books all over the world. But in these books, it says one should be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. But many places, we do not have temples. How will these people be initiated? And Prabhupada, when they read my books, they are being initiated. Initiated means beginning of spiritual life. Prabhupada is giving that initiation every single day for submissive, sincere souls who want to hear the message of the personality of Godhead. Divyam jnanam yato dadyat kuryat papasya sankshayam tasmad dikshiti saproktes deshikes tatpakovide. Boy, Ram Raghav is ahead of me today. Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as diksha. Notice that Prabhupada didn't just say that diksha means throwing some bananas or ghee into the fire. That is the ceremony. That is the event of the ceremony. The actual process of diksha is given here, the transcendental knowledge which vanquishes all reactions caused by sinful activities. The question is Srila Prabhupada, the current acharya of the Krishna consciousness movement, giving transcendental knowledge through his books every day? We say yes. They say no. They say the anti-Prabhupada party, the anti-Ritvik party, says that you can only get knowledge by the lips of a living person. Oh, really? Why are you reading Srimad Bhagavatam every day? Why are you having Bhagavatam class and hearing from Prabhupada? Why are you going in front of the Vyasasana singing Janme Janme Prabhu Se Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita? That is my Lord birth after birth. Why are you doing this? People have to expand their understanding of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, not simply this Vapuvad body consciousness idea. Prabhupada many times stated that Vani is more important than Vapu, but the ATP, the anti-Prabhupada party, or the Vapu party, is trying to tell people that their Vapu is now more important than Srila Prabhupada. What is this nonsense idea? It contradicts Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is never dead and gone. They think he's dead and gone because they're ambitious to occupy his unique position. That will never happen. That will never happen. They may try as much as they like, concoct various resolutions and ideas and corporate ideas. That will never happen. I want to clarify something so people will understand. I've received some communication from some devotee asking, why is it that Vishwakarma and yourself sometimes say that the movement is finished? No, the movement is eternal. The Krishna consciousness movement, or KCON, is eternal. The IS, the purpose of the IS was to originally present the pure and unchanged and original teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the acharya of the movement. When the leading managers deviate from the teachings and misrepresent the teachings, that adulterates the purpose of the IS. The eternal Krishna consciousness movement will always go on, and it's going on. But the deviated party, the ATP party, the anti-Prabhupada party, who is not connected with Srila Prabhupada on account of disobedience and concoctions, they have no connection with the original teachings of His Divine Grace. How else can they say that Prabhupada was a worker for hire for their corporation? What kind of nonsense idea is that? That shows you the level of brain damage that some of these individuals have sustained. The Vapuvad problem. Thank you all very much. Back to you in the studio, Vishwakarma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you for enlightening us on a proper understanding of Prabhupada's mission without adulteration. And I thought today's purport in chapter 7, the Son of Drona Punished, text 2, was very enlightening and illuminating for us as a group to absorb and understand. What is the meaning of ashram? And here it's said that there is the ashram of Vyasadeva at Shamaprasha. Srila Vyasadeva was a householder, and still his residential place is called ashram. An ashram means the place where the spiritual culture is continually made. And this is the point that we want to stress, is that wherever you live, and most people in this modern society are in Grihastha ashram or were in Grihastha ashram and are divorced. Of course, this particular phenomena is common in the modern society, divorce. So you may be on your own, and you might have to make your house or your apartment an ashram. But if you're married, then you can work with your wife or your husband to create an environment for yourself and your family, an ashram. Because this is the direction that Krishna consciousness is going now. Why? Because institutionalization of an organization may not sustain because of mismanagement, but you, an individual, are in control of your life. And that is an advantage for all of us, to be in control of our environment. Not that you become subjected to the whims and arbitrary decisions of a so-called group of people that have deviated from the principles of Krishna consciousness, yet they form these organizations. It's called institutionalization. Do you think an institution is a good thing? Well, it could be. But is it these days? I just want to refer to a couple of subjects here, Ram Raghava. One is the current situation in Italy. Vijaya Pandit, in Italy, the former kingdom of Bhagavan, Vrindavan Villa. This particular place has now become a hotel. It's no longer a ashram. And there the people live and they rent rooms. And the people drink wine. They smoke pot. That's Vrindavan Villa. That's what's going on there. Do they practice the principles of devotional service? Do they chant their rounds? No. Do they attend a morning program? No. Let me give you another example. Yesterday or 2 days ago, my godbrother, Abhimanu, he went to the Toronto Temple, which, remember, Toronto Temple, when Prabhupada came in 1976 to visit us, was a glorious victory for the Sankirtan movement. Prabhupada wrote me a letter personally and said, it's a topmost triumph that you've got this building for Krishna. And he asked me, he said, can you put up these 2 signs on the building, Hare Krishna? He wanted them flashing. The zoning wouldn't allow it. But at the same time, I went ahead and I put up these 2 signs on both sides of the street, which over 40,000 cars a day drive by and they chant Hare Krishna by seeing that building. Actually, I had 2 signs. Down the street, I had set up the Hare Krishna restaurant, which ran for about 1.5 years, 2 years. So when you came up from downtown, you go Hare Krishna, you'd see that, Hare Krishna restaurant. And then you went up another 2 blocks and you'd see Hare Krishna again. So you got half the mantra on one of the main streets in Toronto. So we did that. And the temple was thriving back then. There's pictures of us, the beautiful picture of us with Prabhupada sitting at the front of the building by the sign, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yes, it was glorious. He goes to the temple 2 days ago. On his own. I didn't tell him to go. He went on his own. He gets there. There's no receptionist. None. Before, we used to have a receptionist. There were no devotees in the hallways or in the building. Nobody. Somebody in the kitchen cooking in preparation for a wedding. The deity doors are closed. And tables and chairs are set up in the temple room for a wedding. Oh, yeah. Nothing there. Empty. What is the value of an institution when people are not using it properly? For Prabhupada told me specifically, now you've got this building, use it for preaching. A preaching center in downtown Toronto, one of the most important cities in the world. We have a building up from the Parliament buildings and it's empty. Totally empty. All because of the guru business. Let's stage weddings and make money, and in this way, they can survive. The restaurant is empty. Nothing going on. They cook the prasadam so everybody can go up in the evening and maybe eat something. And then this institutionalization has become a disaster. I'm saying this right now to all of you. It is a huge disappointment. I'm almost disappointed that we got this glorious building, because look what has happened to it. It's pathetic. Now you could deny it. Go ahead. Say whatever you want, but you're speculating on what the reality is. We have firsthand information what is going on throughout the world. It is a guru business of cults. That's what's going on. It's pathetic. And here, it's recommending that for grihastas, you set up your own ashram at your house. Yes. If you come to my ashram here, I show you, there's so many pictures of Krishna here, so many deities. I have 17 deities in my house that were brought to me by other people that didn't want them. I I didn't go out and accumulate deities. The first deity I got was Parthasarthi Ram Raghava. It's in my kitchen altar. I have 2 altars. I have an altar in my dining room, and then I have an altar in my kitchen. And the first deity that went on the altar was Parthasarthi, just a single form of Krishna on the chariot by himself, which for me, I thought, well, it's better. It's not Radha Krishna, because Radha Krishna worship, it requires a lot of discipline and rules and regulations. But I got the way I got the picture, the deity was this. I was out to pick up a bed for one of the people living in the house here. So I drove. There were people carrying we're going to carry the bed out of the store. So I've told this before. So I was standing at the back of my van, just waiting, and I was chanting japa. And there were guys at the front, and I had told them, listen, if you're going to go out, stop using the F word every time you talk. I said, this is not good. I don't like it, and just stop. So this guy, he was a criminal, basically. He started Krishna chanting at the front of the truck because they were having a problem taking the bed out of the store and putting it in the van. Krishna, Krishna, he goes, Krishna, Krishna. I go, well, that's good, you're doing that. And there was an Indian guy who was the manager of the store, came out. He said, who taught you that? Who taught you to do that? He goes, well, the guy back at the end of the van did. I go, okay, well, okay. So the guy comes back to me. He goes, did you teach this guy to say Krishna? I said, yeah, I did, as a matter of fact. He goes, just a second, I've got something for you. And he went back into his office in the mattress company, and he came running out to me, and he had this murti of Parthasarthi on a chariot. And he said, my boss wants me to throw this in the garbage. I said, really? He goes, yeah, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want anything to do with this Krishna thing in our business. Can I give it to you? I go, yeah. And he gave it to me, and that's how I got the first deity in my house. Krishna came to me. And I'm very honored that this was a circumstance that God arranges everything for us. Krishna will take care of everybody. No, this movement is not finished. It's been detoured. A big detour. And each one of you has your own ashram, and be in control of that. It's very important to be in control and let Krishna control your life. Not that you subject yourself to subservience with people that give you a cheap rent. I'll give you a cheap rent, but you have to do what I say. That's what they do. I'll feed you this boga from our kitchen, or that kitchen that you claim is prasadam. I'll feed you, but you have to do what I say. You become subservient to these people. That's manipulation. Terrible manipulation. Your house should be an ashram. And this is what we're promoting. We're not promoting institutionalization. A lot of people, well, where can I go and live? Live at your own apartment. Live at your own house. I'm giving you some practical understanding of how to survive, everybody. You take care of yourself. A lot of these, there's a devotee that called me from India, Nilesh. He wants to be initiated, and we're going to give him an initiation in a few months. Yeah. So he says, I said, well, what do you do for a living? He goes, well, I'm in the bank. I work as a mortgage person. I guess they do that in India now. They give out mortgages and loans. And, well, how do you take care of yourself? Well, I take care of myself and my mother. My father died. but I want to leave. They want me to join the temple. I said, don't join a temple. Don't do it. You stay and take care of your mother. That's the first duty. You're the son. That's why you were born, that you have a responsibility to take care of your mother. And now you have a job. Now I want you to go to work and be the best employee in that business, not the worst employee wandering off and thinking I'm going to be some kind of brahmachari. That's a long journey. You'll see how long you last at that. I hope you do. But if you don't, stay steady, take care of your mother, be an exemplary employee in your business, and chant your rounds and set up your house as an ashram and be in control of your time and your place. Don't be controlled and manipulated by people in the guru business. That's what's going on in India. These people have no money, Nilesh. They don't. And they can get a job in ISKCON. Hey, they're hiring. Just think about it, Prabhus. They're hiring people to join them and support their guru business. But what do? They train them to go out and raise money. That's what they do. And they're getting thousands of people to be their disciples using this principle of guruship, guru business, to develop their organizations. And then they say, oh, we're so successful. Very insidious. For us who are businessmen, and I'm a businessman, I am. I've got a history of business, tens of millions of dollars of business. I understand this hypocrisy that's going on in that world of utilizing Krishna for a trade. That's what's going on. We're going to read a section here from, sorry to get into this, but this is insidious. And people like all of us understand what's going on. And you should realize it. It's not a joke. We're not criticizing people. We're explaining the facts. And we understand them. We're not stupid. You want to say that we're stupid, we're deviant, we're lost? We're not. And if you want to carry on with us, we are at war with you. Just understand it. And we are a force. And it will unfold as time goes on. Like it is. So let's go to this section on Varnash, on Namhata. I want to read this to you. Have you got that? Yeah. Just over 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat gave the following order to his pioneering preachers, for Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. Oh, hear me, Nityananda, hear me, Haridas, simply disseminate my order everywhere. Go from house to house and beg the residents as follows. Speak about Krishna, worship Krishna, and teach others about Krishna. Over 100 years ago, the great Acharya Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Gaudiya Vaishnavism again took to the preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya and recorded the following words in reference to the Namhata preaching work. I am singing news of the greatest happiness at the place known as Sarabi Kunja in Sri Navadweep. The marketplace of the holy name has been now opened, and Lord Nityananda himself is the proprietor. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the innovator of the marketplace, Sri Bhaktivinoda personally traveled to so many places and established over 500 Namhata Sanghas. He organized roles for running the Namhata smoothly. Each Namhata was headed by a commander who took care of the members of the Namhata. He designated the traveling preachers who went from door to door as salesmen. Finally, he considered himself simply as a sweeper, whose purpose was to help maintain purity by speaking Nam Harikatha and singing kirtans at the houses he visited. So this Namhata program is the secret of our preaching program. that we are trying to promote this understanding that you as individuals have the strength, have the determination, and we're seeing it practically with the new people. I wanted to mention, I don't want to embarrass this lady, Bhaktin Ambra Endi, but she said something very valuable to me in a note. She said, after we sponsored her for initiation, she sent me a note and she said this. Now listen to this carefully, everybody. This, she said to me, this is the greatest moment in my life. That's the kind of situation that we want to promote in the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Nam Hata program, because institutionalization, as it is seen in the ISKCON group, and if you look at the Catholic Church, that's also a nightmare, is the way of the future for all of us. You become strong, you become determined, you become fixed up on your own. You stand tall, you walk tall in life. You don't walk small. Prabhupada's disciples are first-class human beings. We are not embarrassed. I'll finish. Some people say, well, I don't want to cut my hair. I don't want to shave my head. I'm going to be embarrassed. Maybe in work you might not be able to do it. But if you're not going out to a regular job, you can shave your head. Nobody's going to say a word to you. Not one word. I was at my barber shop, Yashoda, down in Yotapek the other day. And I go in, the guy loves to shave my head. And it's fantastic. And my barber there, this is a guy from Los Angeles, he really takes pride in the shave. He goes, oh no, I'm already gonna shave your head, and I want to make the clump of hair at the back a little bigger. I said, yeah, we'll fix it up, do that. And it was interesting. I'm sitting there, and there was these Mexican young men there, and he finished the job, and he's looking at me. Oh, okay, now you're perfect. You look perfect. I'm thinking, God, this is amazing. This guy's saying this to me. And then one of the young men who came in, he was a young Mexican guy. He played bass. So we started talking, and I'm a bass player, a professional bass player. So I'm not playing much anymore. But he started to talk to me, and I'm broken English, and we're discussing, and he looks at me, Vijaya Panta, and he goes, I really like that tuft of hair at the back of your head. Alex, that's super cool. I just shook my head. I think back in the day where people used to not want to shave their head, there's one sannyasi from Germany, he never shaves his head. And, I used to think, well, people will mock me if I've got this tuft of hair. Nowadays, the style is, every style works. Purple hair, orange hair, pink hair, whatever hair you've got. They go, oh, well, your hair looks kind of, or no hair, or tuft of hair, or this or that. So we should be proud that we're devotees of Lord Chaitanya. And then when people ask us, we can tell them the reason why we shave our head, why we act the way we do, why we speak the way we do, because we walk tall, not small. Don't be afraid of anyone or anything in your life. Just take shelter of Krishna and march in the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya. And we're going to move forward with our next section, which is the review of the autobiography, the biography of Srila Prabhupada, the unauthorized biography by one of our godbrothers, which misrepresents Srila Prabhupada as an ordinary human being. We're going to go to Yashoda, and he's going to go through these verses as we carry on with this nectar program this morning. Haribo.
Well, thank you for that. We are reading from the Lilamrita Review, part number 3, page number 17. The Lilamrita explain on book number 1, page 164, Abai told him how his business had failed and how he had willingly left his family and was now destitute. In the bottom of the page, Srila Prabhupada explains, His Divine Grace writes on the matter. This is in Madhya Lila, chapter 8, text 127. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati explains that a mundane person being enriched by mundane opulences must always know that the transcendental opulences of the advanced devotee are far more important than the materialistic opulences of a person like himself. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, Text 30, Srila Prabhupada explains, in Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 18, Text 78, it is said that wherever there is the master of all mystic powers, victory, fortune, and all other opulences are present. Devotional service is so powerful. Then Srila Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, Text number 9, becoming as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not mean becoming one with him or equal to him, although in the spiritual world the servant is equally as opulent as the master. The master and servant are different, yet equal in opulence. Srila Prabhupada further explains in Canto 4, Chapter 31, Text number 8, Sakshadaritvena, in every Shastra, the spiritual master is accepted directly as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This does not mean that the spiritual master or a saintly person like Narada has actually become the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but is accepted in that way because he possesses the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart constantly. When one is simply absorbed in the thought of Krishna, one is also called Bhagavan. Bhagavan possesses all opulence. If one possesses Bhagavan within his heart also, sorry, I lost the spot here. If one possesses Bhagavan within his heart always, does he not automatically possess all opulences also? Just as in Vrindavan, India is actually non-different from Goloka Vrindavana, if we have the purified vision to see it. Similarly, the Kalpa Vriksha desire trees supply all needs and opulences for the completely clean-hearted Goswamis. The Shastra concludes that Srila Prabhupada had the same facility wherever he went and at all times in all circumstances. In the TLC, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, introduction, page 17, is explained, for the common man, it seems very wonderful that the Goswamis could simply live underneath one tree one night and the next tree another night and have everything they needed. Vrindavan is actually experienced by persons who have finished with material enjoyment. Back to you in the studio. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you. And I'm noticing here some comments from our friends at Forest Temple. And by the way, Forest Temple, I know you're living somewhere in California there, and you're coming every program. I notice it every time, and it's you know what it is? You're like honeybees that go for the nectar, you know, you're after it. You want it, and you're organizing yourself that you've got this 3-day sadhana program that we are organizing. And by the way, we're planning to expand the program, just so you know. Our godbrother, Ram Raghava, here, who's now taken up a key role in our hosting of the program. Very valuable, and thank you, by the way, Prabhu. It's been a rocky road to get this going, up and down. We've managed to carry it on for 3 years now, I believe it is, and it's a great thing. But he put on an interesting section, because I know all of you, you know, we're on a schedule. So we started off with an hour and a half program. And then it started to expand with the input of other people. You know that, Neil Sham. that it started to expand, the discussion started to expand. And I was thinking about it. I thought, well, the heck, some people, they want to come for an hour and a half and then they're going to go, well, I got to go shopping, or I got to go to do the laundry, or go get my car fixed, or whatever you got to do during the day. And maybe it's unfair that people are leaving and, we carry on, and maybe we should just stop. So periodically throughout the journey of these programs, I would go through changes. I'd say, okay, we got to stop at 10:30. We just got to stop. We can't just carry on. And then it ends up, it goes longer, and I'm going, oh, okay, well, I guess let's discuss it. So technically speaking, I was trying to run it as a 9 to 10:30 program. And then nowadays it's continuing on the discussion. Okay, is it a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing, because some of us are not stuck in a timetable for whatever reason. We're a little free and able to function like that. And I thought, well, okay, well, if people have to go at 10:30, that's okay. Go ahead. You did what you could, and we'll see you in the next program. But some people want to stay on, and people do stay on. And it gets interesting. We go into these different sections of the philosophy based on people's interest. Because a lot of you have questions. You want to talk about things. You want to discuss Krishna consciousness as a group, and it's a good thing. So it went on like that. And then nowadays, are the programs going beyond 10:30, but if you have to drop out, understandable. But the people that want to stay on, let them stay on, and we're talking. And then eventually I get to a point, I go, well, okay, well, let's end it, because there's a time and a place. And then Ram Raghava put on this chant after the class. And last week there was a chant, and it was an old recording, Ram Raghava, that you played. Now, the chant itself was Prabhupada leading, but the people that were accompanying him didn't have a clue how to keep time. Being a musician, I was listening, I'm going, this guy's hitting the bongo, it's completely off. And that reminded me that this isn't a musical performance. This is a devotional performance. And the most important thing in the performance was Prabhupada singing. And I listened on, even though it was agitating me, listening to some idiot playing the bongo off time. But Prabhupada didn't mind. It was an original recording. It was fantastic. And that clicked in my brain. I said, geez, this was really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry on after the class. And I believe today there's going to be a short 7-minute lecture by Prabhupada after the kirtan. So this will be after the discussions, and it'll carry on. And we'll just move forward with our opportunity to associate, if you have time, to be a part of it. If you want to get more information, you might be there on your own, you're by yourself, you're in your apartment or that, and you've got nothing better to do except be in the Prabhupada Disciples Association Hare Krishna Society environment. So this is an addition to the program. And Ram Raghava, how many people are on the YouTube channel today?
Hare Krishna. So just a comment. The lecture video, I haven't been able to convert it to a video file yet, but
Okay.
I'm going to try to present it through one of the windows. If it doesn't work, I'll have it ready by Wednesday evening. So forgive me for that. Today, there were up to 12 people. Right now, there's 10 people watching, no questions.
Okay. Well, that's good. We're looking for, there's a circulation of the message going around anyway on many platforms. And here's, welcome to ISKCON Inc., a corporation where everything is getting to be corporate, and His Divine Grace is a paid scribe as per some individuals. Here's what Dayachanda told me at his cow sanctuary on the Big Island. Those guys are all paid workers, as they wouldn't stay. It's very sad indeed at ISKCON, he meant. So that's a comment from Forest Temple. They're staying in the forest. I guess that's the idea. The temple is the forest in their environment. So, like I said, it's great that you're coming. And then this further comment, yeah, it's a changed world, and that's why we're promoting the Namhata program. Dharma Bhavana, are you with us? I don't see you on the screen. Is he on the program? Dharma Bhavana, our friend in Dallas? No.
He was, but he left, I think.
Okay. Okay, we'll go on with, I don't see, Vijaya Pandit, maybe you can make a comment here on today's program for us. And this.
Ok, allora la prendo anch'io, dai.
Is it working?
Sì.
Your mic? Go ahead. Speak up. Go ahead, please.
Vabbè, siccome c'era questa amici che io non...
Vijay Pandit Prabhu, you're on, you can talk.
Scusa, un secondo solo.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Please speak up. Tell us about Villa Vrindavan, if you could. Do you know
Sorry,
anything
Prabhu.
about
I had
that?
my microphone on.
Yeah.
I'm here visiting a family, devotee family, and the wife is very, very sick, and she participated for the first time to the lecture. And her husband is Dritiman Prabhu.
Okay.
So sorry, for mistake I switched on the microphone.
Don't
Sorry.
worry about
She was
that.
talking to me. Sorry.
Did you listen to the class?
Yes, I translate them, the class, both of them, because they don't speak English. They don't understand English.
Okay, so make a comment on the program. Go ahead.
A comment.
Yeah, make your comment, please. Hurry up. Sorry, I'm just get going. Think. Go ahead.
My comment is that by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, it's for sure by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I gave up many years ago to follow those who think to represent Srila Prabhupada. And in all my life, I observe the people. I'm not a speaker. I don't like to speak. I don't like to make lectures. I'm like this. I like to listen. So if you listen, and you see the people, the behavior of the people are not parampara, okay, Krishna will give you the intelligence to understand whom to follow. So by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, finally came this message to me, and he told me, don't follow them anymore. Search for people that speaks about Srila Prabhupada. And by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, I found in an email address of Yashodanandana Prabhu. Suddenly, I was looking in the internet, and I found the email address of Yashodanandana Prabhu, and I contacted him. And from that day, I never stopped to be in association with his great devotees and yourself. Sorry, I know that Yashodanandana don't like that I say these things. Forgive me, Yashodanandana. And and I will never change. I know that I am in the right hands. I will not follow anymore this kind of business that they do in the name of Srila Prabhupada. They are using Srila Prabhupada as a flag to call the people to the temple, and then they do what they want to do with these people, not what Srila Prabhupada wants do. So, and this is really a criminal act against your guru. So I'm happy to be in this group, and I hope all the people in this group will follow the same path. That's it. Sorry, Prabhu. I was not prepared to talk.
Very well spoken. I mean, you're speaking from the heart, and you're a very sincere devotee, and it's a very valuable thing that we have good people with us. We may not have 60,000 followers, paid by the institution. That's what's going on specifically in India. They have thousands and thousands of people. They don't have a job. Just think about it. You go advertise. You can join a religion. Oh, really? Yeah. What's the biggest business in the world? Religion. How rich is the Vatican? Nobody can estimate the trillions of dollars they control. Nobody. This is a very interesting, Hare Krishna, this is a very interesting phenomena. You can hire people to go out and sell books, and you give them rental, you give them food, you give them vehicles, you give them some money. It's apparent that this particular system is working and it's very successful. And people look at us and go, well, you're not successful. You don't have all that money. But we have the truth. That's the fact of the matter, is that Krishna Katha, the discussion of Krishna from the lips of the pure devotee in his Vani incarnation, is the greatest treasure in the world. Nothing more valuable than anything you can possess, including rough diamonds. I used to be in the rough diamond business. I went to Kinshasa in Angola, in Africa. I stayed there for 6 months. Very dangerous country. A really stupid move by myself, I must say. But I had the best rough diamonds you ever seen in your life in my hands. But what's more valuable is the diamond of truth from Srila Prabhupada that he's given to us, and we're preserving in this Krishna consciousness mission to protect his legacy from adulteration and contamination. Krishna Katha, can you speak on the phone?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Today's verse just perfectly, relates to what Forrest Temple was saying, and what I've said also in the past is that, so you can see me, is that
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada's perfect and pure movement, that we know you could walk into any temple in the 70s and the 80s, and you were not only introduced to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, but all the devotees. Everything was going on nicely as Prabhupada gave it to us. And it has deteriorated. But today's verse perfectly states that our home is our ashram.
Yeah.
And it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be a physical apartment or a home, 4-bedroom, 2-bath home or whatever. It could be wherever you are. So even like sometimes I'll travel and for whatever reason, it requires that I get into a, cheap hotel, nothing extravagant, but I'll find an area and clean it very nicely and make that the area where I offer boga. And so this little hotel room becomes my ashram for the day.
Exactly.
It's just like you did, Vishva, on traveling Sankirtan. Our van, I remember making an altar in the van, right? And a little curtain, and you open it up, offer your boga. So it's wherever you go. This is the way of the current situation with sincere Prabhupada disciples that want to please him and the entire Parampara. And unfortunately, going to one of his beautiful, wonderful temples, it's almost an incompatible situation. Like Forrest was saying that, he tried to do some service and the pot washer, it was his job. And he was like, don't take my job. And he got this vibe like, get out of here. So it's like that. There's salaries. And we know that Srila Prabhupada said, no salaries. Where's the bhakti if you're taking salary? Everything will be lost like this. So that's my takeaway from today's verse and the comments that were made, is that we just have to remain sincere and do it in the the privacy of our home. And when we visit each other's homes, we are visiting a temple. We know that this disciple of Prabhupada has made his home an ashram, a temple. And so we offer our pranams, we offer our obeisances, and we're just doing it not in a physical building that at one time we all experienced was Vaikuntha. Devotional service. Bhakti was just in the air. Everywhere you went, everyone was how do you say, surcharged? I think Prabhupada would use this word, surcharged with devotional service. And you just don't see it anymore. It's really sad. So that's my takeaway from today's verse and the comments that were made.
Actually, it's a very astute observation. And I had an experience, Ram Raghava, yesterday or 2 days ago with a lady that came to visit the house with her children. And she looked at me, she saw that I had my Sika, and she goes, "Hey, I never see the Hare Krishnas anymore. What happened to them?" That's a common observation by many people, that we've disappeared. And this is, part of it is the Hinduization of the North American movement, where it's focused specifically on gathering money from people that are from India, that are Hindu, that have jobs that are somewhat successful, and the focus is on them because they have the dakshin, they have the money, and they want to maintain their spiritual life like the Christian church. You go to church on Sunday, you give a donation, you pretend you're spiritual, and you go home and you live in Maya. So this is what's happened. Forest Temple. Prabhu, can you speak? Is the microphone available where you are? Maybe you can make a comment. Go ahead, please. Speak up.
Forest Temple, your microphone is on. I turned your microphone on so you can talk.
Go ahead. Forest Temple. Go ahead, please. Hopefully you can speak. Maybe the mic doesn't work. Okay, well, let's move forward. I'd like Yashodanandana to give a few comments before we wind up the program. Yashodanandana Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you for these various interesting discussions. I just want to read a very brief purport from the Bhagavatam. This is from Canto number 4, chapter 15, text number 23. Canto number 4, chapter 15, text number 23. It is described, "O gentle reciters," this is the story of King Prithu. "O gentle reciters, offer such prayers in due course of time, when the qualities of which you have spoken actually manifest themselves in me. The gentle who offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not attribute such qualities to a human being who does not actually have them." In the purport, Prabhupada says, although Prithu Maharaj was factually an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he rejected those praises because the qualities of the Supreme Person were not yet manifested in him. He wanted to stress that one who does not actually possess these qualities should not try to engage his followers and devotees in offering glory for them, even though these qualities might be manifest in the future. If a man who does not factually possess the attributes of a great personality engages his followers in praising him with the expectation that such attributes will develop in the future, that sort of praise is actually an insult. This is a little message for those who think that they're on the level of the sum total of all demigods and on the level of Nikunja Yuno. Take notice from Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending today's program. It was very enlivening for all of us, I know it. And we're getting worldwide recognition from people who are attending the program through the social media world, which is a very powerful medium. Some people would say, well, you didn't go out on the street yesterday and stand at the corner with a bunch of homeless people. Because that's what you find downtown in most of these cities now. You go there's a bunch of people looking around to get something. We're using our intelligence, everyone, to cultivate people in your warm market, Pierangelo. The people that you know, that you work with, that you associate with, that are your friends, who are not devotees, but they're interested, because otherwise, why would they be around you if they weren't interested in you? They're interested in you, but if you speak to them intelligently and articulately and maturely from a Krishna conscious point of view, you'll be able to influence them in a positive way, and this will continue to advance the Nam Hatha program that we're talking about here. This is a scientific approach to preaching Krishna consciousness based on the principles of networking. Networking. Your warm market to start, and then you go from there. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Lots said today, lots to think about as we march along, and pray for each of one of us that we can sustain ourselves in this effort to protect the legacy of Srila Prabhupada as his humble servants. Maya is everywhere, everyone, and it's attacking all of us, all the time. To protect Krishna and the association that we are trying to get by our sincere surrender to our spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Haribol. We're going to go ahead with the chanting of Hare Krishna led by Srila Prabhupada. Listen to the chant along. And then after that, we'll have our closing remarks, and you'll see all the credits on the screen. We're going to be revising those very soon with the help of Shiv Narayan. And then we're going to, after that, whatever Ram Raghava's got conjured up, you can stay on board if you want and enjoy the transcendental atmosphere that we're disseminating here online to Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks, everyone, for participating in this lively discussion and reading. We invite all of you to come back on Wednesday afternoon at 5:00 p.m. for a Chaitanya Charitamrita reading and discussion. Thanks, Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Ram Raghava Prabhu in Brighton, Georgia, Rochisa Devi Mataji dans les Laurentides de la province de Québec, Krishna Kata in San Diego, California, Bhaktin Ember in Texas, and Forest Temple in Baja California. Very interesting hats there, beautiful prophet hats you have there. Vijay Pandit in Italy, Cantadas in Trinidad, Triloka Vijay in Alachua, Florida, and everybody participating. Not to forget our good friend Rupa Goswami in Mumbai, India, and Shiv Narayana Prabhu in Japan, and everybody who attends the program. Thank you for your participation, your comment. Please stay with us with another lively kirtan with some nice Vaishnavas from Jamaica. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Mahamuni advises through Srimad Bhagavatam says that you have got this human form of life. Now you have no necessity for finding out where is your food, where is your shelter, where is your sex satisfaction, where is your defense. This is not your problem. You should try for that thing, means the thing which will give you relief from these material necessities of life. That is the advice. We are mistaken. We are, in this morning walk we saw that such a big nation, but the problem is food problem. Early in the morning at 6 o'clock they are going to work. They are going to work. Why? Now, for finding out the necessities of life. So what is this civilization? Early in the morning, 6 o'clock, according to Vedic civilization, one should rise early in the morning and chant Hare Krishna, perform Mangalarati, worship the deity. This is the morning business. But the richest nation of the world, they are going to work at 6:30 for earning their bread. Is it very good progress of life? And the whole day they will have to work. Not only here, everywhere. For earning their daily bread, they have to go 50 miles, 100 miles away from home. And every city, in India also the same thing, in Bombay, they are coming 100 miles off and hanging in the daily passenger railway. Very serious condition. And it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that a human being at the end of the Kali Yuga will have to work. They are already working like an ass. And actually they will have to work like an ass simply to get their bread. The progress will be this. And not only that, the foodstuff, especially the sattvic foodstuff, like fruits, vegetables, milk, rice, wheat, sugar, these things will be not available. Completely stopped. So, gradually we shall make such advancement. I have seen practically, I went to Moscow, and at least for us, it was very difficult to live there. There is no rice supply, there is no wheat supply, very rarely, no vegetables, no fruits, some rotten fruit like raspberry. And so, at least for us it was very difficult. Of course, milk is available and flesh, that you can have as much as you like. So, that is not human life. Human life is here described. That Kaviraj Goswami is Mat sarva sapadam bhojo radha madana mohano. Our only asset should be the lotus feet of Krishna along with Radharani. Madan Mohan Krishna is so beautiful that he is more attractive than the Cupid, Madan Mohan. Madan means Cupid. Cupid is supposed to be the most beautiful person within the universe. Now Krishna is still more beautiful. Kandarpa koti kavaniya vishesha shobham. That is described in the Shastra. And when Krishna was present, we know from the Shastra, from the evidences, that Krishna was attractive to so many gopis. The gopis were the most beautiful women, and Krishna was attractive to them. So just imagine how much beautiful was Krishna. Not only to the gopis, there were 16,108 queens of Krishna. Therefore his name is Krishna. He is attractive to everyone. Jayatang surito panga mamo. So why he should not be attractive to fallen souls like us? So that is the position of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Bala Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bala Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare